Well, there's a couple things that we can talk about tonight. It's good to finally kind of be on a bit of a streak here on Game Over Calgary, with Auddie at least. I know Peter's covered some wins. I sound like a broken record every time we come on here because it's more often than not that we cover losses. But we are covering yet another Calgary Flames win, a 2-1 win against the Vegas Golden Knights in overtime at the Scotiabank Saddledome. Welcome to Game Over Calgary. My name is Auddie James, joined today by my good pal. We haven't chopped it up in a while. We were talking about it a bit beforehand before we hit live there. The Shot Down in Flames boys, Robert from Flames Nation. How are you doing, buddy? It's good to see you again.
Dude, it's so good to talk to you again. Yeah, dude, it's been a while.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, since our illustrious run on Shot Down in Flames there.
Our whole 6 episodes.
Oh, yeah. How could anybody forget that magical run there? So, no, it's good to be back on with you, man.
It's great to have you, and especially on the heels of a game that we witnessed tonight at the Scotiabank Saddledome. A game not without theatrics, might I add. A couple things off the hop before we get too far into breaking this one down. Before we get into any of that, though, save your questions. If you have questions at the end, or for the end of the episode, we'll hit the presser at the end. And if you have any questions for myself, any questions for I guess he's on this side, any questions for Robert about what he's doing at Flames Nation, any Flames questions, any, what's your favorite color, what's your favorite food, we'll answer them all. We don't discriminate against questions here on Game Over. So save those for the end. When I tell you to hit press conference questions, get them in the chat, and we will get them read and answered. Okay, the theatrics. It was definitely not a game without its drama-ish at the start of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Dramatics, to say the least. It was, Jacob Markstrom was supposed to start this hockey game, but at the nth hour, obviously comes down with a flu that's going to, well, maybe not comes down with, but realizes that this flu is not going to allow him to take part in this game. And they showed the little video on the broadcast of him showing up. I think you probably saw it, showing up to the rink and then promptly leaving the rink. And then in comes our boy, Dusty Nichols.
Dusty Nichols.
First of all, what an Albertan name! Like, it doesn't get much better than Dusty Nichols. That's just incredible. I love the name. If anything else, I love the name.
It sounds like a strip club in Fort McMurray.
Yeah,
like the Dusty Nickel. I'm heading to the
here
Nickel
comes on stage 3, Dusty Nichols. But in all seriousness, it's always cool. The story writes itself when there's an EBUG, a possible EBUG involved. I mean, the SD of SDPN is no stranger to the effects of what an EBUG can do to a team. If you want to go back and watch that video, I think everybody here knows what I'm talking about there. But Dan Vladar gets the call. He wasn't expecting to start. And he gets the call to start, and Dusty Nichols, former Calgary Canuck, former MRU Cougar, current construction company owner and goaltending, I guess, like, consulting company owner, is the one who mans the pipes. And I guess he's been an EBUG a few times before for the Calgary Flames, as they mentioned on the broadcast.
Yeah, they said for Washington one game, and I guess he's always at practice taking shots if some of the guys aren't there, like some of the goalies. So he's been around the dome a little bit.
Yeah, he knows his way. He knows his way around, and it's a good thing that, well, maybe not a good thing. I don't want to discredit him, but it's a good thing we didn't have to, like, put him to the test tonight.
It is what it is. It would have been a lot of fun.
Would have been an awesome story.
It would have been just a train wreck potentially too.
Yeah. At least he wasn't playing for the other team, and it would have been that whole David Ayres situation. So, happy for him that he at least gets to sit on the bench. That's pretty cool. He earns $0 for this on an ATO. Just you get an experience and maybe a couple fist bumps at the end of the game. But yeah, happy for him to get that opportunity. But I'm sure he's probably thankful too, because there were a couple situations in this game, especially early on, where it looked like we might just have to see this guy suit up. And I don't know. I feel like Calgary collectively, like, not as just as a team, but as a city or a fan or anybody watching this game, just took a collective deep breath when we saw, was it Michael Amadio or Carrier? Yeah, Carrier goes in and
trucks him.
I don't want to say that was on purpose, but that looked pretty fucking intentional to me.
Oh, I'll say it's on purpose. That was
he
totally
knew what he was
on
doing.
Purpose.
He knew what he was doing.
100%. He went flying into Dan Vladar. Like, there was no attempt to stop there. And, like, And Carey is a big guy. Like he's a big,
yeah.
solid, thick guy. And like that's a huge collision. There's no way in hell that Vegas didn't know that Calgary had an EBUG on the bench, because
They
like
knew
that
what
looked
they were doing.
totally, like that looked 100% intentional. And I thought it was just, quite honestly, just like a bullshit play by him. Like really, really like classless BS play by Carrier there. I hated it.
Yeah, I didn't like it either, and it would have really changed the sales in this game, because Dan Vladar ends up being one of the biggest storylines in this Flames victory. But having to rely on an EBUG, like I find that more oftentimes than not, you see an EBUG come in. It's like later on in a game, or midway through the second. At least you got half a game under the belt. But that was like 4 minutes maybe into this hockey game, and having to rely on a guy, and all due respect, I'm not trying to shit on our boy Dusty, but to have to rely on a guy who's got zero NHL experience. His hockey DB page hasn't been updated since like 2015. It's a scary situation, especially in a high stakes game like this for the Calgary Flames, who are coming off of a road trip, and not only that, but against one of the best teams in the NHL. So it's I'm thankful that Vladar kind of collected himself and stood tall for the rest of the game.
Now, I'm curious, what did you think of the Flames' response to that whole thing? Because I was seeing online, there was a lot of people saying like the Flames should have done more, like they should have dropped the gloves on immediately, or maybe even taken a run at Hill or something like that. Like, did you like the Flames' response, or were you okay with it?
I was okay with it. I don't think that like who went after him. It was Greer and Zadorov were yapping at him for a little bit. Look, you can't put your team at a disadvantage by taking an instigating penalty. Like, obviously you'd like to see some kind of response. Carrier wasn't going to drop the gloves. He simply was those things were glued to his hands. So if you're going to try to instigate something like that, put your team at a disadvantage. Vegas's power play pretty good. I don't know if you've seen it lately. Not bad compared to what we saw from the Calgary Flames, but we'll talk about that later. I liked the response. I think that you get your licks in, you give him the chance to drop it, you beak him a little bit. I don't think you run Aiden Hill. I think that's obviously
old school.
I think that's big time. Yeah, that's like very old school, and again puts you at a disadvantage because you're 100% taking a penalty or doing something stupid, and you don't want to give your team or yourself that disadvantage. So I was okay with it. If Carrier would have dropped the gloves, that would have been fine. If two guys sat for 5 and there's no instigator, I would have been okay with that too. But I'm okay with the fact that they gave him grief, they gave him a hard time, they got some wax in at him, and they don't end up having to kill a penalty.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
I mean, the old school hockey fan of me did want to see something. I'll be totally honest. Nothing crazy, but like maybe like immediately after the play happened, like Greer I think was right there when it happened.
Yeah.
Maybe he could have just dropped the gloves on the spot or something and just kind of sent a message saying like that's not okay.
Yeah.
Because like it's such like a BS play, because like I said, like they know Calgary has the EBUG. Like, and they know what like an epic disaster that could have potentially been for the Flames. Flames could have like maybe even been like a laughing stock if this guy, Dusty Nickel gives in, 10, 11 goals or something like that. Because Vegas, I mean, they had a lot of high danger chances. They had a lot of breakaways. Like they were looking good. And if Dusty Nickel's in for 56 minutes of that game, that's crap. So like I kind of wish there was a little more of a response there from the team, just to send a message to the rest of the league, like you can't do that shit against us, because like that play really pissed me off.
Yeah, it was bad. And even it's even bad when the broadcast, like Rick Ball is one of the most neutral, like he is the least homer of a home broadcast team that you could probably find in this league. And when you've got a guy like him saying, yeah, that like I don't want to say that's intentional, but like that was pretty fucking intentional.
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing obviously, but
did he say that on the broadcast?
I kind of wish he did.
Quote unquote.
I kind of wish he did. Now that I say it out loud, a Rick Ball F shot on like a Monday night on a 7:30 start.
Spice things up a little bit.
Yeah, why not?
That'd be fun.
Why not? 2 games on the schedule for for Sportsnet. That's the network I'm looking for, and spice it up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying too, because I would have liked to see some fisticuffs. Who doesn't like to see a little bit of punches thrown and a little bit of excitement? And I think people in the Dome would have liked to see that too. The fans were engaged tonight. It's something that we don't see often or hear often in the Saddle Dome, and I think that would have really brought the crowd to their feet. But yeah, I'm okay with it, especially since it leads to a win. That's kind of the biggest thing here. The elephant in the room for the Calgary Flames is quite glaringly obvious. You've tweeted about it. Everybody's been tweeting about it. The power play has just been like god awful, and I don't know how many other words to use to explain just how bad it's been, other than fucking abysmal, trash, garbage,
abomination.
Yeah, I thought Kirk Muller didn't coach this team anymore. But like for you, is it a Mark Savard thing? And I think you actually tweeted about this and generated some good conversation on Twitter about, is it a personnel issue? Can these guys just not run a power play? Or is it a Mark Savard thing who just can't get these guys going? Like what side of it are you on in that tweet that you put out?
You know, it's hard to blame coaching because everywhere Mark Savard's coached, I mean, he's only coached for 3 years before coming to Calgary. But in St. Louis, I believe they had the third-ranked power play. And then in the OHL, the Spitfires, I believe they had the first-ranked and the second-ranked power play in both years he was there. So, like, the guy has a track record.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's a hockey mind. Like, he's just a total hockey nerd, was a great skilled player, power play guy in his day. So, like, you know, he should be, like, a power play expert. There's really no reason for Mark Savard to be the problem right now, just based off his track record. And so I guess it's kind of a long way of saying I'm kind of on the talent side of things, because even last year, last year the power play was 19th, and that was with Tyler Toffoli, who was clearly their best scorer, like their most natural goal scorer, and now he's gone. So you take away their best goal scorer, the only guy on the team that could like really score goals at a high clip, take him off the team this year, and it's pretty much the same power play without him. So you'd almost expect the power play to be in that kind of, you know, 23 to 30 rank in the NHL. So, and like Huberdeau's not the same Huberdeau he once was, unfortunately. Lindholm's not the same Lindholm he once was. Same with Kadri. And like these guys aren't like natural playmakers right now, and they're not natural goal scorers. Like they're really missing that. And they're kind of missing a point man, like an Erik Karlsson or a Gustafsson or guys like that. So like I really think they're missing key elements in terms of talent. And I just can't see it being Savard's problem, just because he is so smart and he's had so much success in his previous coaching stops.
Yeah, when you're seeing the same results from a year ago with one guy removed on that top power play unit. And I want to give like a little bit of credit before we poo-poo on it too much to Igor Sharangovich, who seems to kind of be finding his way. Like he's looking, not like he's obviously not a Toffoli replacement right now, but he's starting to heat up a little bit, and he's starting to show signs of kind of finding his game here in Calgary, and that includes on the power play.
He looked good in overtime on the power play there.
Great in overtime. He had a bunch of shots. He was, you know, even in the third period, there was no. It wasn't at this point that they were on the power play, but it was a nice little sauce pass that would have, I think, been right on the stick of Coleman that just got broke up by a Golden Knights stick on the way back.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And like that was just a pin perfect pass. Like he's starting to get better. So credit where credit's due. You know, the guy who they get for Tyler Toffoli is starting to kind of find his way with
I
this
honestly
team.
thought he was like one of the best forwards on the Flames tonight.
He looked
thought
good.
He was really good tonight.
Yeah, I had
one
a
of
lot
his best
of
games.
I had a lot of fun watching him. He was buzzing out there, and if he can continue that and even maybe get to a higher clip than that, then he's going to be a lot of fun. And I think a lot of Flames fans are going to be happy at the end of the day with that return for Tyler Toffoli. But back to the power play, it's just I don't know don't know what it's going to take. Like I don't have the numbers in front of me. I'm very ill prepared for my own show apparently. Shocking. Auddie doesn't have the numbers in front of him. But it can't be good over the last like 5 games. Like they probably, what are they at? Like I'm gonna guess in their last 5 games, 1 power play goal.
Yeah, I think you're right. I know I have written down here in their last 11 games, they're 1 for 32.
That's disgusting. That is
disgusting.
Fucking
It's horrible.
Yeah, because I think it was coming into the Dallas game that Pinder actually was talking about. Well, Pinder and Boom were talking about just how bad the Flames power play was coming into it, and how like the Dallas Stars had scored 8 power play goals in their last like 5 games, and the Flames had 8 power play goals all year or something like that.
Yeah,
that's bad.
Not good.
That's really, really bad. Like, think about how much of a difference these games, like, the Flames have played some close-ish games where a couple power play goals probably is the difference maker.
Oh, yeah, they probably have another 4 or 5 points in the standings.
And they're just not getting it done.
Power play.
They're just not getting it done. And I don't know what I don't know what it is. You watch all these other teams set up on the power play, and I can't even pinpoint what the issue is. Like, is it like at the start of the year, it looked like they were moving the puck pretty well on the power play. They were maybe taking some bad shots with a lot of traffic, like low risk shots. I don't know. I truly don't know what the root cause of this issue is, but it can't continue.
No, I find on a power play, like usually there's probably like, I don't know, 4 to 5 set plays.
Yeah.
To get people in like good scoring chances of one-timers and all that. And I guess what I'm seeing is like in my opinion, there's no way Marc Savard hasn't brought any sort of like set plays to the table. Like like I think he has this group prepared. Like there's no way he doesn't. I would be stunned if he doesn't.
Yeah.
I just whenever I watch the Flames, I just see a lack of execution. Like I don't see them making those, like, you remember like Johnny Gaudreau used to make those like, incredible like cross ice passes to Elias Lindholm. Those are gone. When you go to the goal line and then back out to the slot, like that bumper position.
Yeah.
That Sean Monahan used to be in. Like,
he
you
was
don't
so
see
nice
any
in
of
that
that.
bumper slot.
Like one of the best.
So good. I do too. I do too.
But like you're not seeing any sort of execution on any of like those set plays. Like right now, it's just they're standing still. It's a lot of just getting the puck to the point, kind of lobbing shots in there, looking for tips. Like there's just no creativity, no execution. It's like it's tough to watch, and that's the reason why I think it's more talent. Like I just don't think these guys have that elite talent to create those high end chances right now, unfortunately.
And what an opportunity it would have been late in the third period before you send it to overtime. They get a nice little power play. I tweeted it. You tweeted it. I think 95% of people who cover or talk about the Flames on Twitter tweeted it. How good would it be for this power play to fucking find it on a game-winning goal? Everybody on the first power play, second power play, take that monkey off the back and throw it and start fresh. And maybe that's the kickstart that this power play needs. But I can't complain too much about that power play because they dominated overtime. The Flames took that power play at the end of the third period and they ran with it. It was so dominant. We didn't have a single whistle. The Flames maintained possession of the puck for nearly the entire 5 minutes. I think the Golden Knights couldn't get through the neutral zone and really set anything up in the offensive zone. They played 4-on-4 for 4 minutes and 56 seconds of overtime, which I put a tweet out. God bless 4-on-4 overtime. I miss you. 3-on-3 has gotten so boring with all this bumping it back and anyway, that's a different story. But they really turned it on, and I guess as a whole for this game, not only am I really impressed, but had they lost this game, I think I would have genuinely been pretty upset because they looked like the better team, I think, for the most part of this game. And a big part of that, we'll talk about it in a minute here, but a big part of that's Dan Vladar. But what did you think? Like, all in all, in this game, what was your biggest takeaway? Because I thought they looked pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, so like I'll go back to your power play comment in overtime first. Like you're right. Like they had the puck the whole time. They had possession. They were getting shots off, but I thought that was like that whole power play is kind of like a microcosm of the season. It was just like Vegas lost a stick. It was essentially like a 4-on-2.5, and like they still couldn't create anything dangerous. Like it was all from the outside. It was all from the point. Like I think there was one timer to Sharon Govich that looked like a pretty decent chance, but like outside of that, like there was no creativity. There was no passing. Like there's no, going through the middle of the ice. Like I thought they really lacked creativity in that 4-on-3 power play there. But you're right. Like they did have possession. They did get shots off, but like Vegas did a good job getting in lanes and all that.
They
but
did.
I would say tonight, like, yeah, I mean, I thought the Flames played like decent. I definitely thought Vegas had a lot more of like the high danger scoring chances.
They did, yeah.
Like I think they had 2 breakaways. They hit 2 posts. Like Dan Vladar had a couple 2-on-1s that Vladar made a couple amazing saves on. Like I really thought Vladar kept them in the game, and like I thought that was the big takeaway tonight was Dan Vladar's performance, because in Colorado he was okay. He let in a couple softies, but like he comes into tonight not prepared to play, and then gets run 2 times, like first by Carey and then the second by Weegar. Like Weegar takes him out, yet he's still dialed in and he still gets the win, only lets in 1 goal. So I thought Vladar was the takeaway tonight. I thought he was excellent.
Yeah, he's my first star of this game. And let's go there. Let's talk about Dan Vladar a little bit, because there was a couple things I wanted to bring up. One of them, you did a tremendous job of kind of taking the reins with there and seeing and talking about how good he was. Because you go on Twitter any given night and there's proposals and shit that you see that people are like, oh, maybe if you sent Vladar down right now, nobody would even claim him. Bring up Dustin Wolf, blah, 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 blah. And then he comes out and in a game, like you said, where he's not even supposed to start this game. And he says, there you go. Suck it, haters. He played out of his fucking mind. He was good. Had he not been at that level, I think it would have been a much different outcome.
Yeah.
First of all, because he had some 10-bellers, like you mentioned, just looked so calm, so composed. Probably one of the best games I think I've seen him play in Flames threads, if not the best game I've seen him play in Flames threads. And that begs the question: do you ship him out now? What's the like? People are talking about it. Dan Vladar or Dustin Wolf, sorry, is on the doorstep. He's knocking on the door. He's waiting. He's only going to win so many AHL Goalie of the Year awards before he's going to get his licks in the NHL. Trade everybody, but Dan Vladar is that the kind of game that you audition him and say maybe this is when you sell?
I mean, I think so. And like, that's nothing against Vladar. Like, I like Vladar as a goalie. Seems like a good guy, but like the thing I worry about with Dustin Wolf, it's not necessarily like the like development part and all that, or the confidence or anything like that. I know that's been a bit of a narrative out there. For me, I just don't want him to get pissed off at the Flames. Like, I don't want him to get this attitude. Like, they stopped me from playing in the NHL. They stopped me from making money. Like if Dustin Wolf was here all season, like he's an RFA at the end of the year. What if he has a great year? Maybe he signs a pretty decent sized contract. But now that he's not in the NHL right now, maybe only signs like a 1-year deal, is making league minimum or something like that. Like, those are the things that I worry about. It's kind of like the mental state and like his relationship with the organization. Because there's no way Dustin Wolf is sitting in the AHL making that low amount of money, riding buses, all this kind of stuff, and he's happy about it. There's just no way. Like, I got to think he's kind of pissed off, because he's like, I won the MVP last year. I won goalie of the year. The last 4 years I've played hockey. Like, what more do I need to do to make it to the goddamn NHL? So I think the Flames, like, at some point soon, like, I'm talking before the new year, I think they got to make room for him. So that probably means a Dan Vladar trade. And even if that means you get a 4th or a 5th for Vladar, I think it's important that you build that relationship with Wolf.
Well, what did they gave up a 3rd to Boston for Vladar. So even if I don't think they're going to get a 3rd for him now.
If you could get a 3rd, I think they would have already traded him by now.
Yeah. No, I think so too. Yeah. At this point, it's less about what's coming back and more about what's coming up.
Totally.
Right. You're first of all, you're shedding a little bit of money. You're getting something back. You're getting a magic bean late in a draft of children who were born like, I don't like the age of entry NHL entry draft now. It's just crazy. It's like, oh,
they're
these
like
kids were born
05s,
in
no
2005,
6s.
2006. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, I was playing like NHL 06 on my PS2 when you were born. Like, what the fuck's going on? Anyway,
They're
that's
so old.
It's so crazy, man. Yeah, time is not real. But you're more so, like I said, you get a little bit of savings in a very tight salary cap world, and you're committing to your, franchise, soon to be franchise goaltender, by all accounts, franchise goaltender. We're not exactly sure how it's all going to end up, but
Yeah, he's still got to prove it, but you got to give him a chance.
You have to. If we've learned anything from last year about youth and chances, is you have to reward the kids that are developing in your system. You have to reward the assets that you've spent time drafting and developing, and you have to reward them by bringing them up. And Dustin Wolf, you're right, is got to be at the point pretty soon here where he's like, what the fuck more can I do for you? Mm-hmm. Like, what more can I do for you that I haven't already done and still hasn't warranted a call up? So I do agree. It's sooner than later, I would think, is are we going to see the Dan Vladar trade? But not only that, because there's a whole laundry list of players that we're probably going to see traded here. And it's going to be fascinating to see what happens here in Flamesland. Chris Tanev blocks. He's hungry. He's hungry, and he just eats a puck. I know this guy is no longer on the airways, but I just hear Don Cherry every time I see something like this. Oh, kids, when you're blocking shots, you gotta turn your head, otherwise, and it's just he was a stickler for not blocking shots with your face, right? And that was just a tough one to see.
It was.
He had eyes for the puck, really. Like he watched that thing the entire way and takes one right off the chin.
Didn't flinch. He just knew it was coming.
And he got up and just obviously he's in a good deal of pain, but he just gets up on his own, skates off the ice, and goes down the tunnel.
Yeah, he's built different.
What a fucking machine.
That guy's an animal.
Absolute manimal, if you will. But to that point, you gotta not shit or get off the pot if you're the Calgary Flames, but this guy puts his body on the line, and he's gonna have negative value pretty soon here if he's hurt and you can't trade him. And there's been as much interest in him as there has been.
There's been I believe 4 or 5 times this year already where he's kind of gotten injured on a play and he's gone down the tunnel. This guy is just sacrificing every part of his body for this team to win games. Remember last year he took that one-timer to the skull and was out cold on the ice. Now tonight he's eating rubber with his mouth. It's crazy what he does for this team. And it's I was thinking about it tonight, the emotional side of you wants to keep Chris Tanev because how many guys are willing to do this stuff to win in the NHL today? Nobody's willing to do this. He's insane, and you love that about him. He's willing to do anything to win. But then there's the critical thinking side of you is this guy's gonna get hurt very soon, if not already. He might have broke his jaw tonight, we don't know.
Yeah, that
and you're asking yourself he's gonna get hurt, and we're not gonna be able to trade this guy. You could maybe get a first round pick for him near the deadline, but now that might not happen because he's willing to put himself in such a dangerous situation. So yeah, I mean, part of me is fuck yeah, good on you, you're doing everything you can to win. Then the other part of me is he's a trade asset, and you're seeing him go down the tunnel.
Dude, please protect yourself.
Seriously, yeah.
The selfish side of me needs to see you stop taking pucks into areas where people are not supposed to be taking pucks.
Yeah.
And you know what though, that just it's why seeing stuff like that is why teams are so interested in him. Because 100%. He does that stuff. Because he's a fucking warrior. The guy puts his body on the line night in and night out. And, one of the most consistent, just stay at home, pure defensive guys in the league still, despite his age and despite the hard miles that he's got on his body. And like I said, that's why teams want him. That's why there's so much interest in a guy like Chris Tanev. But seeing him take that shot to the jibs, man,
that was tough to watch.
Made me wince. And then I see the blood spitting out of his chin or wherever he took that puck, and the whole time. Like, obviously, I'm hoping he's okay, but I'm thinking, there it is. That's it. There's nothing there anymore.
No more first round pick.
Yeah, no more first round pick unless someone like Brad Treliving is crazy enough to to do such a thing. Brad Treliving, let's not forget what he gave up for a guy like
Travis
Hamonic. Yeah, and that was the Noah Dobson pick.
Yep.
And then some. When
I think it was a first round pick and 2 second round picks.
Yeah, the first was
Travis Hamonic.
The first was Dobson. Yeah. And I reviewed it with Mike Bartner when I had him on the show against the Islanders, and we were like just back and forth, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you're welcome, buddy. You're welcome for that.
Exactly.
Jesus.
No, it's just craziness. Yeah. So anyway, this is Game Over Calgary. We're continuing along here. Calgary Flames winning 2-1 over the Vegas Golden Knights tonight at the Scotiabank Saddledome in overtime, as I mentioned. We're going to continue along here, but get your press conference questions in now. Good chunk of you in here. While you're typing out your question, hit that like button, subscribe to SDPN. We're almost at 100K, and that's going to be a lot of fun when we hit 100K. So let's, if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Help us get closer to 100,000. Like the stream and get your questions in now as we head into our final segment and then put a bow on Game Over Calgary. Okay, looking ahead. How do you feel? Genuinely right now, like on November 27th at 11 p.m. Mountain Time, how do you feel about this team and the direction? I
don't want to be like a bit of a downer because I love cheering for the Flames. It's been my favorite team forever, but like right now is probably like the least emotional I've ever been about this team because like I just
isn't that
feel
a
like
good feeling though?
No, because I love the emotion. That's like my favorite part of being a sports fan.
But
I love it.
But like, I think it was Mary Jane in Spider-Man No Way Home. She's like, you can't be upset something about like not having expectations and being upset. I don't know. That's where I'm at. I don't mean to cut you off, but like I feel like it would be much different if this team was supposed to be good, and we're getting this. And then the feelings are just all fucked up.
I wrote a column. It's called The Good, Bad, and Ugly. It's a reoccurring column. Find it on Flames
Great
Nation.
column. Great column.
Thank you. And I started off the article today saying what we've seen from the Flames the last like 5 games, where they've gone 2-2-1, is kind of what we can expect for the rest of the season. Like they're not that good, they're not that bad. Like they're kind of in the middle. Like they're not as bad as they were to start the season. Mm-hmm. They're not as good as they were when they went like 6-1-2 or whatever that was. They're like right in the middle of that.
Right.
And that's the worst place to be in hockey. And that pisses me off. And that's the reason why like I'm not like as invested, because like they're stuck in the middle. They got all these UFAs. I don't know if they're gonna move them or not. I certainly hope they do. But I don't trust this owner. I don't really trust John Bean with the direction of this team, because I think all they care about is making the playoffs and getting, 2 to 3 gates of revenue for the team. So it's like, I think the Flames are just stuck in this terrible position where they're not good, they're not bad, they're just kind of there. They're not like overly skilled. They're not like great defensively. Like there's like nothing that's like super exciting or something that's like going to get you pumped about this Flames team right now. Thank God for Connor Zary and Martin Pospisil for injecting a little bit of excitement and some youth. And I hope we continue to see that. I want Coronado back up. I want to see Wolf. I want Pelletier and Poirier when they're healthy. But it's like, yeah, man, it's just like, like I said, it's kind of like almost like a little emotionless this year. It's like, do I want them to win? Do I want them to lose? Like, are they good? Are they bad? It's just, it's super weird. It's such a weird position. Like I've never really felt this way about a sports team before.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
Well, it's like it comes back to like, again, you go on Twitter and you see everybody talk about being stuck in the middle and perpetual mediocrity and this, that, and the other, about how the Flames are poised to pick 16th every single year, somewhere just in the middle. They're never going to get, and that's like genuinely how I feel though. Like this team is too good. And I say this all the time, so forgive me if you're listening again and you hear me say this again. Too good to be bad. Like you're not going to outstink the teams that are like way worse than you. Like I don't see a situation where this team tanks. I'm sorry. There's no tanking that's going to happen. There's not going to be a tank commander. As much as some people and like, look, I would, if I'm being honest with you, I wouldn't hate to see the Flames plummet and take a fucking top 3 pick. Like, I wouldn't hate that. But I also love to see wins, and I love to talk about wins, and I love to watch good hockey. And we're not going to watch good hockey if this team is tanking. Back to my original point. They're too good to stink, and they're too bad to be any higher than they are.
Yeah.
Like it's just the definition of them being in the middle. It feels like it's just going through the motions this year.
And like they could make the playoffs. Like there's no doubt in my mind. Like
no, they
like,
can. The West is wide open.
There's like 7 or 8 teams in the West going for 2 wild card spots.
Yeah. And
the Flames are one of those teams. So like they could make it, but then you're gonna play like Vegas in a 7-game series where you got to play 4 games in Vegas, where have been terrible. You know, LA is a juggernaut. Vancouver has a lot of high end talent.
Mm-hmm.
Or you play Colorado or Dallas or something like that. It's just like what are we doing here? We're gonna
what's the point
if we make it? What's the point?
What's the point of even making the playoffs? And it comes back to your point of a little bit of revenue, and that's it. And then a middle round pick that is not going to be a game changer, right?
Could be a decent player, but
could be, but historically isn't going to be.
Totally.
Right? Like a middle first round pick, you can find some good players in there. You can also find Mark Jankowski's in there. You can find, guys I don't even know
how guy like Pelche, like he seems like
but good player. Don't get me wrong.
6 winger, like nothing crazy there.
Yeah, but
NHLer, but it's like the thing I want is like I'd love the Calgary media just to ask the either ownership or the president John Bean, like, what's the plan? Like, what are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the point of the Calgary Flames? Like, why do we exist? Is it just to put on a product? And
I ask myself that question every day. Why do I exist?
Yeah, totally. It's like are we in it to win? Like, or are we in it just to make a little bit of cash for old Murray there?
Yeah,
like I don't know. And nobody ever talks about it.
And
in the media.
It's frustrating for me as someone who enjoys this team, enjoys talking about this team, covers this team, to see a team like Ottawa, obviously a bad team. They are in a world of hurt especially after tonight's game. But
Buffalo,
but like even like no, what I'm trying to get at is like from an ownership level. Look at how hands-on Mike Landauer is, and very clear and very transparent with the media, and this is how the Ottawa Senators are going to operate. This is how we expect this team to be. This is the standard we set ourselves to. This, that, and the other. Being present, shaking hands with the fans, like being that boots on the ground guy. And you don't have that. I feel like even that would be a little bit of it would feel a little bit better for Flames fans if there was even a smidge of that.
Totally. Like, I bet you like a lot of fans kind of feel like a little underappreciated by this ownership group because we never hear from them. We don't hear a peep from those guys. And all you want is just maybe talk once a year and answer some important questions about like the state of the team, or go in the concourse and shake hands, or do like luncheons and events that fans can attend. Like, do something just to connect a little bit and make us feel like we actually kind of matter
and then
to your organization.
Not only that, but you get a litmus test of how everybody's feeling, right? Like you get a little bit more of a better vibe and understanding of where everybody's at. And not that impacts your decisions as an owner, but it kind of does. Like at the end of the day, your pockets are lined by the people that you're shaking hands with, and you make more money when you keep these people happy. So
totally.
To talk to your point about just being boots on the ground and even seeing Murray Edwards, I've been living in Calgary for almost a decade now, and I had to Google what Murray Edwards even looked like.
Yeah,
I had no idea. Not even a remotely close sniff of what he looked like. And
he's like this mysterious man. It's like this almost like weird like
does he even exist?
Yeah.
Is he
a real person?
Like put him in front of a camera and blink twice if you're in trouble. Murray.
Is he just AI? Is Murray Edwards just AI generated? Like, who is he?
He might be. I don't know. Apparently he was at the Heritage Classic. Apparently he was at the Dome for another game after that. Nobody fucking saw him.
Well, I remember the Jerome McGinley retirement. He wasn't even at the retirement ceremony. Jerome McGinley's the most important figure in Calgary Flames history, and he didn't even show up to that. It's just like,
Brutal.
it's totally weird, man. It's really weird. And like
Yeah.
in the past, like he had Ken King to do the talking for him, and
Mhm.
Ken King was actually like really good at it.
He was
And
quite good.
and he was always in, like, I remember going to games, I always saw him in the concourse, like, and he's always doing events and media and
Mhm.
all that. So like I guess that, you know, that counts a little bit.
Yeah.
But like John Bean doesn't do any of that. Like he's a
No.
terrible public speaker, and if that's not his strength, then that's fine.
Yeah.
But like we need somebody on the business side to like talk to us and let us know what's going on, and you know, so we can kind of air frustrations and let them know what we think. It's like,
I think
but
I
there's
think it would
just
speak
none of
volumes. It would speak volumes to a fan base.
Totally.
To
Totally.
have that. And until that happens and we have no direction, the Calgary Flames are going to continue from top to bottom to just tread lightly in the middle, maybe squeak into the playoffs. And, you know, I just don't know what the solution is or how you get out of this.
Yeah,
Like,
I just don't know what their plan is, and I don't understand what they're doing.
no,
It's
me
just
neither.
like either go for it or retool and get younger and try to go for it in the future, because the current addition of the team, the state of the contracts and the roster, they're not gonna win. They might win a round if they get a hot goaltending performance like Bobrovsky did for Florida.
Yeah.
They might, but that's all they're sniffing. It's just like, it comes back to my question: what are we doing here? What is the point of all this? What's going on, guys?
I have
Like,
no
come on.
idea. I have no idea. Let's hit the presser. We got some questions coming in
Beautiful.
in the chat here. First of all, thanks everybody for watching. This has been great as we put a bow on today's episode of Game Over Calgary. The Flames win 2-1 over the Vegas Golden Knights in overtime at the Scotiabank Saddledome. Okay, hitting the chat. Let's see here. What's the worst draft mistake in the last decade? We missed on Nylander and Kucherov. Well, the Kucherov one's interesting because if you talk to Pat Steinberg about that whole thing, well, I had him on one of my previous shows, and we talked about that, and I've told the story a couple times on Game Over, and it was something along the lines of it's the same draft year as Gaudreau, and it had something to do with the Flames thinking that they could get Kucherov later than they did, which is why they took Wotherspoon the pick before. They were under the impression that Tampa was not going Kucherov. So they took Tyler Wotherspoon, literally the pick before Nikita Kucherov, under the impression that Kucherov was supposed to, they thought he was going to slip to, because what was Kucherov's second rounder?
I think so.
And I think they thought he was going to slip to where they ended up picking Gaudreau. And they were in on Gaudreau as well. So they just completely fucked up their rankings of where everybody was going to go. And lo and behold, Nikita Kucherov goes next. So like that's just a fucking fumble. Just horrible.
Big time. I think I know the story you're talking about. Like, didn't they set aside like Gaudreau and Kucherov's name
Yes.
on their list? Like Gaudreau and Kucherov weren't on the list. They were like special exemptions or something like that.
That's right.
And they wanted to get either one or both, but they weren't on the list, which was like kind of strange to me. It was weird.
Really, really weird. And then ask me where Tyler Wotherspoon is these days. I couldn't even tell you.
Kula and Red Star and
Probably
KHL in China.
Mannheim, whatever, wherever Dallas Eakins just signed. Mannheim, whatever.
I'll answer that question kind of in a different angle. For me, the biggest draft snubs or like the biggest mess ups with the Flames in the draft is just Brad Treliving trading away every draft pick the Flames have ever had. It's like, I think that totally killed them. And it was for like veteran guys that didn't end up making an impact whatsoever.
Brian Elliott.
Yeah. Brian Elliott, Travis Hamonic, Michael Stone, Mike Smith.
What did that Brian
Curtis
Elliott
Lazar.
pick become?
Oh, Jordan Kyrou.
Yeah, that's right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
he'd look pretty good in one of these jerseys.
Yeah, I'd say so. So it's just the fact that Tree traded so many draft picks, like an extraordinary amount of draft picks for guys that didn't really end up working out. I think the Flames probably would be in a lot better position today had they kept, at least a few of them and had a few more roster players to plug into the lineup.
I agree. This is a good one from Conrad. This is unrelated, but I love these unrelated questions. It's unrelated to the Flames, but I'm going to this is bringing a big smile to my face because this is news to me. I didn't know this. Unrelated press conference question. Drumheller Dragons player Kai Matthews signed with the Kamloops Blazers. Good signing for Kamloops, ? I am grinning from ear to ear, ecstatic for Kai Matthew. What a player, what a good kid. And that's huge. It's so good to see players from grassroots leagues like the AJHL, all these junior A leagues across Canada, part of the CJHL, that take their games to the next level. You might know a guy, Cale Makar. You heard of him?
I think so.
He's okay. I think he's from the area.
Yeah, I think he's okay. I've heard.
But he actually started in the AJHL, and now he's playing in the NHL, which is crazy. But in all seriousness, that's awesome. Fucking ecstatic for Kai Matthew. That's great news. I didn't know that, Conrad. So thank you for letting me know. Lane says, "Hey Robert, where did you get that hat? Can't find one online, and I really like it."
I got at the Dome this year. I was at the St. Louis Flames game, where it might have been the worst hockey game ever played.
Not a good one. My wife was at that one too. And she was like, "Whoa!"
With like 15 minutes left in the third, I just went for a little walk on the concourse and was checking out the store. And it was at the Fanatic store in like one of the corners in the bowl there.
They unrelated. The Fanatic has some gas. Like if you're willing to spend some time and find some hidden gems, because they'll have like one left of like certain things like that, for example. Like they might have like a couple left, and you're like, they're not going to post them online. There's like 2 left. Like I found a really nice one too in there. It's all black with like a black C on it. Oh, yeah, so nice.
Oh yeah, there's some hidden gems in there. There was like a few things I really liked. So yeah, it was like, wasn't like the Fanatic store that like you see when you walk into the building. It was like one of the ones like in the concourse.
Yeah.
So yeah, check that out.
Speaking of merch, check out the Game Over merch on SDPN. Link is in the bio of this. I think our Black Friday sale's over. Actually, we called it Blake Friday for our good pal Jesse Blake. So I think our Blake Friday sale might be over. But if you try it and you get 20% off, then shout me out, because I didn't know the sale was still going. All right, let's see here. A lot of banter back and forth. We'll take a couple more questions. This will be the second last one. So can Matty Coronado play his wing? Dubé is Dunzo. Duer and Rosie are suboptimal. What do you think?
I would agree with that. I think Ruzicka.
Sorry. The question was, can he play his off wing? I left the off part. Can he play his off wing?
Well, I don't think it'd really be necessary, because there's like no right-handed shots on the Flames right now. So he probably would play in his off wing, but I do think it is time to call him up pretty soon, because he's lighting up the AHL, and we're having a hard time scoring goals up here. And like they said, like, Dubé's not been very good. Ruzicka is so meh, so kind of bland.
Yeah,
Walker Duer's really struggled. So you take any of those guys to the lineup for Matt Coronado, I'd be more than okay with that.
Yeah, I would be okay with that as well, and I think that it might be time for Dubé to eat some popcorn. I don't think it's going to happen. I truly don't think that they're going to scratch him. But
they love him. They love him for some reason.
Man, I've been saying it all year. Get someone who believes in you the same way that the Flames believe in fucking Dylan Dubé. Honestly, if you can find someone that believes in you like that, you're set for life, man. Yeah. You're set for life. But I don't think it's going to happen, but I would not be opposed to him sitting and thinking about his actions. They've done it before. He's sat before. Like it wouldn't be the first time that he's been sat. But
I'd probably sit Ruzicka right now. I just think he's just bringing nothing to the table.
But the coach doesn't like Duer. The coach has no use for Walker Duer, I think.
No.
So what do you do?
Bring up Matty Coronado? Sit Ruzicka and move him up in the lineup, and put Dubé at center, fourth line center, something like that.
There you go, Robert solving all the Flames problems right now. You got that direct line to Ryan Huska.
Unfortunately, not.
I wish, if only, right? Last question we'll take, and then we'll put a bow on today's episode. This one from our friend Lane Calhoun. Thanks, Lane. Is Huberdeau a lost cause? I don't think he's a lost cause. I just think that he's not ever going to live up to $10.5 million.
That's a really good way to put it. Like I think he can be an NHL player.
Yeah,
but certainly not a $10.5 million guy.
He will never be. He will forever be up there with when they put those lists out for worst contracts in NHL history. I'm sorry, but I think he will be up there.
Oh, it goes like Rick DiPietro, Jonathan Huberdeau.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, it's It's not good. And, the Flames are stuck with him. They can't buy him out. They can't trade him. No one's going to take him on. So I guess like we as the fans just have to kind of deal with it and support him, as best we can without pulling our hair out. But like, even like tonight, I thought he really struggled tonight. Like, I did not think he was very good. Like, he wasn't on the power play in overtime. He's had a few good games there.
Yeah.
I think he had 6 points in his last 6 games prior to tonight. So, we started to see a little bit, but like we need to see that over like 40, 50 games, not 3 games out of 6. You know what I mean?
I desperately need him to be a point per game guy.
But it's just never going to happen.
It's never going to happen. But I like, for my own mental sanity, so that I can take him off of this missing list. So I can finally, awesome. Like, I've been scratching names, like Nazem Kadri, he's already off the list. I haven't scratched him out yet. The blue line, looking a little bit better since I made this list. But there's one person still missing.
Yeah.
And the last time we saw him was in Sunrise, Florida. And I don't know if we're ever going to see Sunrise, Florida, Jonathan Huberdeau. And look, you can throw the, he never wanted to leave Florida. This sucks for him, blah, blah, blah.
Who cares?
He's still a hockey player. You don't forget how to play hockey.
Totally.
You don't forget how to play hockey.
Yeah.
Coming off of 115 points. Yeah, he does. He looks lost, and I desperately want it for him, man. I love the player. I love the guy.
Does.
Everybody is rooting for this guy. He just needs to fucking do it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's so frustrating because I want to love him. I don't want people to hate him. I don't want to see him get flack online. I want him to be confident. But it's so fucking hard to back a guy up who just doesn't do it for you.
Yeah. 100%.
Night in and night out. And it's tough because I love the guy, but it's just like, fuck, man. Please.
After tonight, he is on pace for less than 50 points this season.
Oh, God.
Less than 50 points.
I don't think he's going to outplay that pace.
I don't think so either.
I don't think he's going to.
We saw some flashes there, like little flashes of like some nice passing, but like it's just not enough. It's just
tough,
really
man.
not enough. Yeah,
it's tough.
The part of me kind of feels bad for the guy because that like mentally he has to be like very down in the dumps, and because like just imagine like in your own profession, if you're one of the best at your profession, say you're in sales or something like that, you're hitting crazy numbers, and all of a sudden you go to a new company and you just can't figure it out, and you're in the bottom of your sales team. Like imagine how you feel about that. Like you just feel terrible about yourself. So like I genuinely feel
and he knows it.
Bad for the guy.
He knows it. It's
for sure
tough.
He does. Absolutely.
It's tough, and like I want him to get back to it. I really do. I don't think it's gonna happen. Like
no.
He hasn't shown anything in the last 2. I don't think it's just gonna flip on a dime. No. I think the key is he needs to stay a 50 to 60 point player for as long as possible. What can't happen is him literally being a detriment to the team. Yeah.
Which is what he was earlier in the year. Like he can't be that.
No.
He has to be 50 to 60 points. And I don't think that's asking too much.
No, I don't think so either. Really, especially given the price tag, and that's going to suck because he's constantly going to be compared to the price tag.
Yeah.
And it's just the nature of the beast right now.
For sure.
It is what it is.
Sucks.
It sucks.
It is what it is.
It is what it is, dog. All right, let's wrap it up. That was good. Fuck, man, I took you for way longer than I thought I was going to take you for, but I guess that's the nature. I guess that's the nature of the beast when you get the Shot Down and Flames boys back together after being on hiatus for as long as we were. Robert, man, thank you so much for doing this. This was a lot of fun. I think we got to do this again. I mean, I don't think I've had this much fun on a game over in recent memory. All due respect to everybody else who's been on, but this was a lot of fun. I know where to find you. In case the people don't know where to find you, tell them the floor is yours, what you're up to, where they can find you, and all the amazing work you're doing for our friends at Flames Nation.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. So I'm on Twitter at Ring of Fire CGY, and then also run the Flames Nation Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. So be sure to follow along Flames Nation as well.
Short and sweet. Just go follow the man. Go follow the man. Read all the articles. Retweet all the tweets. One thing that you didn't mention, he clips so much. If you've seen a Calgary Flames clip on Twitter, it's probably from Robert. So Everybody spam thank you, Robert, for all the clips in the chat, because a lot of you wouldn't be able to retweet what you retweet without the hard work that this man puts in behind the scenes. Okay, that's going to be it for Game Over tonight. If you want to follow me, my shit's in the bio as well, at Auddie James on all social media outlets. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Calgary Flames win. This was a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode. Like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff on podcatchers. If you're listening on playback, like it on your favorite Spotify, Apple, Google, whatever the fuck else you can listen to a podcast on. Just be sure to spread the love. Hopefully you guys are enjoying what you're listening to. Okay, next Game Over is going to be on Thursday as the Calgary Flames welcome the Dallas Stars to the Scotiabank Saddledome. Peter Klein will have your call. He'll be joined by our pal Gino DePaoli, the Medicine Hat Tigers, a play-by-play broadcaster and just a good dude, just a real good hockey dude. We love Gino and his AJHL roots. Okay, friends, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on Thursday. And yeah, this has been Game Over on the heels of a Calgary Flames 2-1 win on SDPN Sports. Adios.
Game over!